Maybe to start, you could briefly introduce yourself.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Pam Kingfisher. I'm a Cherokee woman from the Cherokee Nation. I'm a citizen in Oklahoma, here in the United States. But I was born and raised in Washington State. My father moved to Washington to work on the Hanford bomb plant in 1943. So he was one of the first hired and first in building plutonium in Washington State at Hanford.
How did you find your way to the activist work you are doing today? And how has it changed over the years that you have been active?
Asking questions in the 4th grade, going, "Daddy, that ain't right. Why are they doing that? What are you talking about?" I didn't know that just asking a question at the dinner table was a radical act, and that it would follow me through my lifetime of why? Why are they doing that? Why are they burying stuff in boxes and, you know, plutonium in cardboard boxes, really? And they sleep all night and they just make up good numbers in the morning because they know what the good numbers are? That's not right, Daddy.
Do you feel like this work has changed, or like you're talking about nuclear secrecy, has changed over the last years then? Or
it's just all gotten worse. There's nothing any better. What we assumed would happen in the 80s is nothing's happened. There's just been a real, it's interesting to hear here that other people have stated there was a lot of activity and activism in the 80s, and then it really went down, and now it's on a resurgence. But so are the bombs, and so are the poisons, so are the plans to do more damage to people. We're just seeing it ramp up all around us. And the global war that we're in right now, it's all here. So it is on the table and very important that we uphold the treaties, stop these weapons, and preserve the planet.
So what motivates you then to continue?
Preserving the planet, yeah. I'm a beekeeper. I have my grandmother's original allotment land from 1906 given to her as an 8-year-old Cherokee girl that didn't speak English by the U.S. government and the Cherokee Nation. I will never give that land up. Land is just the most important thing to us. And to have healthy land where my bees thrive, where people can thrive, that we have healthy food, those are the important things to me, and that we don't lose our cultures and we don't lose our hearts and our spirits in this horrible world that has been created around us by the corporations and the governments who allow that corporate greed.
You mentioned you do a lot of groundwork also of affected communities with indigenous communities. So how exactly are you and your communities affected by nuclear weapons, the tests, and the sustaining power dynamics that are still existing?
Well, as I said, I grew up at the bomb plant, so pretty much everyone in my town, their dads worked at the bomb plant, and we grew up knowing the rabbits and the snakes were hot, and you know that we shouldn't eat them, but not understanding why or understanding the science. So later, growing up and knowing, my daddy did that. My daddy did that to Hiroshima, Nagasaki. You know, that is a big one to swallow and take on, and so to have that drive me of, I'm not that person. That's not who I am, and I really don't think that's who my family was. But we were tricked and lied to, and economically, these men are just talked right into it, and you know, we go willingly, we don't know. And so I just think it's really important that we expose all of this and work for the good of the people and the planet.
Do you think that your voice is heard?
Sure, if I get loud enough in the right room, or if I write a really good piece of work, or if we push some policy and it happens. I've been an organizer a long time, and I think I've had a lot of success at that, whether it be Native American women's health policies at the top end, or at home we're fighting chicken companies that are polluting and just ruining our area and ruining our water. And you know, I'll just fight at every level to stand up for my community and for people, for regular people, for the animals, for the plants, and for the planet. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself.
You have worked in so many projects that you have mentioned so far, as you said, food industry, water, women's rights. and not to forget successfully closing an uranium mine. Why do you think it's important to tackle these issues together?
Because they're so big. They're planetary, they're global, they're ran by global corporations and global governments who, are really looking to control everything, all the resources, and to take that. And I want to back up just a minute. I didn't finish about our contaminated lands. And so moving from Washington State, where the bomb factory was, down to Oklahoma, where I thought it was just my grandma's land and my culture and my people and I got down there and found out that Kerr-McGee was a very polluting industrial nuclear company, and they had recently killed Karen Silkwood because she was a whistleblower at a Kerr-McGee plant in Oklahoma, and they had opened up Sequoia Fuels 30 minutes from our town, where they were refining uranium, bringing it from the Quivira mine in New Mexico, and bringing that yellow cake out to Oklahoma. And it operated for, 15, 18 years. We saw it shut down in 1993 due to our efforts. And there were 5 plumes of major poisonous chemicals. It's a chemical process to undo the uranium and process it, turn it into fuel, turn it into the armor-piercing bullets. And so it's not all radiation, it's chemicals too. And it's just a nasty, toxic stew. So we had 5 plumes headed for the river. With Monsanto Corporation, they bought 10,000 acres and developed a fertilizer called Raffinate and started spreading it on those 10,000 acres. We found the dead cow pits because farmers whistle blew and called us in the middle of the night and said, hey, their cows are dying about every 3 months. We can't get away with that. Shut them down. So we went out and snuck in, dark clothes, midnight, and found the dead cow pits and went, oh, they're right. These farmers know what they're talking about. And so we were able to expose that. There were animals dying all around the perimeter of that 10,000 acres because it would spread in the middle. So on the outside, it looked like a happy cow operation with lovely trees and plants. But if they replaced those cows every 3 months in the middle of the night, who knew? So we were able to see that shut down as well, just because of exposing it. Our local TV station, which is not local, it's an hour over away, won awards for things that they would come and do, just being really creative and exposing all the different pathways. It was not just radiological. It was all those chemicals and the processing. So it took 28 years. Finally, the tribe and the state of Oklahoma sued the corporation that had bought Kerr-McGee and then went bankrupt. And that's their trick. They just keep going bankrupt, moving the money, so there's no cleanup money. And you'll see this just at about every site. All of those uranium mines that are contaminated and left will never be cleaned up because the companies have walked.
How do you make sure that your community is informed about these things?
Used to say a long time ago there was a commercial, help, I'm contaminated and I can't shut up. But you just have to talk to people and keep reminding them. And because we shut that in 1993, there's a lot of students that I work with who've never heard the story. And I realized we need to tell this story. So, we got a Facebook page even after 20 years. That we never had any computers or phones when we shut them down. That was all pre-computer. And so just talking about it and getting the kids interested in understanding, you're connected to these Navajo kids out here and why? By this uranium, those threads. And the activism in Oklahoma is interesting because we're not a nuclear state. Kerr-McGee had some processing plants, but we didn't have a nuclear power plant. We didn't have the resources. So when Black Fox power plant was going to come in, a woman named Carrie heard about it and just went to town, just talking to all the neighbors. You talk to everybody. We shut that place down before it ever started. And I don't know how many states have done that. And so for that, for Karen Silkwood, for all of her activism and murder, and for shutting down Sequoia Fuels, Oklahoma has a pretty good legacy and some kick-ass activists. And where'd that come from? There's no planning. There's, you know, again, some Black Fox shutting that was down before cell phones. So how do you get that many people to a field out in the middle of nowhere? You know, you talk to folks, you network, you organize. Old school.
What does the TPNW mean to you?
It means hope for the future, that there is hope for the planet. I have had very little hope that the United States would ever stop its evil rampage that it's on. But seeing all these other countries, hearing these states' parties, especially these brilliant women, oh my goodness, that wasn't happening in the 90s. We weren't at too many tables, you know, so that's really exciting to me, and that they get it. They really get it. And there are things they're saying about their people and protecting their lands. You know, Kazakhstan, I can be all mad about their uranium mines, but I'm really proud of what they're doing. You know, so we have to find this place to be together and to find some, you know, ways through all of this mess together, because it's bigger than any one country, it's bigger than all of us. We have to do it together, states, parties, civil society, all together.
I read a quote in one of your, another interview you gave, saying, even if you don't win and it costs a whole lot of money, it got us in rooms we never would have gotten into in the first place. There is a lot of gatekeeping still, and how do we ensure that more people get into these rooms?
A lot of what I've been doing this last year is raising money. You know, it takes a lot to get these kids here, to get elders here, to get folks here, and that we have to support people. Something that we've done at the Nuclear Truth Project over the last 2 years has been to write protocols around rights and respect and reciprocity, and how do we treat each other? How do we act as humans when we're together doing this work? And that's become really important in ensuring that we honor our community activists as much as the scientists or the brainiacs, or, you know, yes, they should have a stipend, and yes, they should be honored and taken care of for their life knowledge and what they know and what they bring. As we were this morning in our session, we heard about losing an elder in Australia, and he's just been a knowledge keeper and an activist for, you know, over 30, 40 years, and it's just so key to the people. So we've lost another library. We've lost a whole nother archive of knowledge in a whole nother language that I'll never understand or know. But to walk in those worlds with both languages, with all of those spirits, the hearts, the elders behind us, our ancestors. I don't know what your question was.
It's okay. Maybe a question that can continue this conversation to a direction of the solidarity that you addressed, and that we all need to keep those libraries when we are losing them year by year. Do you see disarmament, nuclear disarmament activism as a common responsibility for everyone, for us all?
Yes, I do. It's like crosswalks and seatbelts and, you know, everything else we learned in 4th grade. All of those things count. That's how we take care of each other. That's how we are humans together. We have to have some responsibility for the future. We talk about the next 7 generations. Well, I'm pretty worried about that scenario. And that's what's important. In Natives, we know that's how long it takes, that we must carry on that culture and make sure that everything's safe for that long, and we've lost that because of the corporate and colonial takeover of all the resources for everyone, and that's not fair. It's just not fair. There's no justice there, and we can live in a better world. It doesn't have to be like this. This was like, Turtle Island was like heaven before the colonizers came. Apparently when the ships were coming, they could smell the land before they saw it. The richness of all the fruit, all those smells reached them before the visual of the land. You know, I just think it could be so different. We have so much, we just can't lose it all. For
a country that, like Germany, that has not signed yet, where there's still maybe the doom of maybe more losing than winning in this scenario. What do you want to tell the German government?
Do the right thing. Come on, you know. I have a lot of German blood, which is real interesting with my native. I'm the only native always on time and early, but I just think that there's so much that we can learn from each other. I think there's so much bravery that's come out of Germany, and they can be brave again and stand up and do this with us and for the world, not just for themselves.
Thank you very much.